Hey guys, welcome back to Ashtar Books. Today I'm going to do a historical romance recommendations part 2. So I did the first recommendations video a few months ago. I think it was back in January, but a couple of you guys had asked if I would do another one, so I thought I would. And so I've got about 5, I think, books / authors that I was going to suggest to you guys today. So a lot of these I have mentioned in a wrap-up previously, but I thought it would be kind of nice to kind of like put all the historical recommendations in one video. That way, if you know you're just looking for that, or if you kind of remember me mentioning something, you could go back to this video. I really like it when people put like the recommendations for specific like subgenre in a specific video. That way I don't have to kind of watch like the whole wrap up again if I want to just find those specific books. So these are some of the historical romances that I've read recently in the past couple of months that I think you guys would really enjoy. So the first one is an author that I've mentioned a few times, but I really think she is wonderful and not underrated, but maybe I just don't know if as many people have found her yet, and that is Christie Caldwell. This is her first book, The Rogue's Wager. It's not her first book. It's the first book in the Sinful Bride series, which is the series that I read. So I haven't read any of her other series yet. She's got a ton in her backlist that I would suggest diving into, and I personally am. But this is the Sinful Bride series that I think that's what it's called. Yeah. That I really enjoyed. All the heroes and heroines, well, the heroes all run a gaming hell. And so they're kind of that like rough and tumble, very like dark past, kind of moody, a lot of angst. Kind of goes into these stories, and they're definitely a bit grittier, a bit darker than some of the other historical romances that I've suggested before. To me, this kind of reminds me a little bit of like an Elizabeth Hoyt book, so if you like her writing, maybe check out Christie Caldwell. Having said that, there are still some light moments, and I think her heroines do a really good job of kind of figuring out the heroes and kind of figuring out how to kind of lighten themselves or like lighten their mood, but not to make light of their background, but to kind of show them that there is, you know, a better way of life, kind of. So anyways, I highly suggest Christie Caldwell. Check out her books. A lot of them are in Kindle Unlimited, I believe, so if you have that, definitely a good resource to have. So the next kind of author I want to suggest is Leonora Bel. I just recently talked about this one in my most recent wrap-up, and I really loved her writing style. I really enjoyed this book, and I will for sure be checking out more from her, and I would suggest this to anyone who wants kind of unique historicals. So I've only read this one, but I've kind of read the synopsis of some of her other books, and I can kind of tell that a lot of her stories are very unique. A lot of her heroines are not just your typical like debutante going to kind of get married, have babies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's not that they don't do that, but they have other higher ambitions. The one in this book is transcribing a manuscript, and she speaks multiple languages, and she wants to go to India. She has a lot of really big aspirations, and I know in other books, like I think one of them, the heroine helps her husband run like a chocolate shop or a chocolate factory. So each of them have like, you know, a job. They have something they want to aspire to, and I just found that really refreshing. I just really enjoyed this. I liked the characters, I liked her dialogue, and I just really enjoyed having kind of more unique characters. The next author I want to suggest is one I just finished, and that is Kelly Bowen, A Duke and the Night. So I just finished this book. It's my first book by her, but I feel confident in suggesting at least this book. I haven't read any of her other kind of backlists. I believe this is her most recent book, I think. I really liked this. It was, if you're looking for a good like feminist historical romance, this is the one to check out, along with a lot of like Tessa Dare's books. To me, this kind of reminded me a bit of like Tessa Dare, not that it's the same thing, but just in kind of some of the ideals that you could kind of tell were in the writing. So this one follows a woman named Clara Hayward. Is it Hayward? Yeah. Who is kind of, she comes from a decent amount of money, and she was very beautiful and she had money, so it was kind of like, why wasn't she married? And it's from a simple reason, that she was an educated woman and she had a lot of knowledge, and as the book says, there is nothing more frightening to a man than a woman who is smarter than him. So basically it follows her, and she is the headmistress of a school, and then our hero is August Faulkner. and he's a duke, but he's kind of a bit of a self-made duke. He earns a lot of investment and a businessman. Well, one thing happens, and basically Clara's family comes on hard times and they have to sell the school. He buys the school kind of without her knowing, and they had met years before, and it just kind of starts off with this flirtation, and he kind of wants to get in with her family for business purposes. So I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5. I'll talk about it a little bit more in my wrap up for this month, but I definitely would suggest this again if you really want a strong heroine. This girl knew what she wanted and she was gonna go after it. I feel like at times she almost pursued the hero more than he pursued her, which is a little bit unusual and historical, and I love that about her. She was sassy and she was an educated woman. She knew a lot of knowledge, and she wasn't like sorry about that. She was like, I know what I want to teach girls. And the way that she taught the girls in the summer program, where she kind of taught them to tell her what they wanted, and one of their questions, I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the questions that I was like yes was on the application that she gives them at the summer program was, what would you want to be if you were a man? Like, if you could do anything and you were a man, what would you do? And they give their answers, and it's like doctor, lawyer, you know, things that to the society women couldn't be. And basically she kind of helps them realize some of that. But it was great. If you're looking for a good historical, check this one out. Next one I was going to suggest is Never Seduce a Scot by Maya Banks. I recently also finished this one, so you'll also hear about this one in a wrap up. But I've read Maya Banks before, and I believe I did suggest her in my last video, but I felt like I wanted to throw this one out there because I really enjoyed this book. It was just more than I thought it would be in a way. You know, obviously when you have kind of like a Scottish historical romance, sometimes it's a little bit fluffy, if you know what I mean. But this one had a lot of substance, I felt, to it. I liked the characters. So our characters are Eveline and Graham. And basically Eveline is what they call like touched. She had an accident when she was younger and had a head injury, and basically like everyone in her clan kind of protects her, very like they protect her, she's one of their own, but they all kind of think that she isn't the same after this, and she doesn't speak. So they basically think she's kind of, you know, in a way lost it. And her family doesn't think she's crazy, but they definitely think something has changed since this accident. And our hero Graham basically is kind of, they're forced to get married from a decree from the king, because their two clans basically are always at war with each other, and to kind of make the peace, they want them to get married. So I loved Graham. He was amazing. I loved how unique this was. I loved this. Graham, our hero, really saw past kind of the exterior of Eveline and kind of saw deeper into what actually was going on, because not everything is as it seems. And the accident did cause something to happen, but it's not just that she has like gone mad or gone crazy. She has a very good reason for not talking, and I just thought it was really, really interesting. This book kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I loved Graham and Eveline together. They were the sweetest couple. They really kind of took on their parents, who, you know, did not want Eveline to marry this man, but she really knew that this was going to be what was best for her. And if you're looking for a Scottish historical, check this one out. I really, really liked it. And I loved Maya Banks' other books. So she's definitely a go-to if you want anything in the like Scottish variety. And the last one I'm going to suggest is Kerrigan Byrne. So these are the two that I've read from her so far. You guys have already heard me talk about them. So we've got The Highwayman and The Hunter. I have The Highlander on my TBR. I haven't quite got to it yet, but I'm going to get to it soon, hopefully. These books are amazing. They're definitely a little bit on the grittier side of kind of the historicals, and the darker side. A lot of these heroes, at least the two that I've read, have very dark pasts. They were either in a prison or kind of grew up in a prison, and they were very much so shaped by that, and they're not nice men. I mean, they are nice. I would say they're good human beings once you get deep inside, but on the outside, they are very, very hard, tough men. And I really enjoyed it. I thought she wrote really unique stories. Again, I really like the ones that are just kind of different. And these, I felt like each male character starts off as one I'm not sure if I'm gonna like, and over time she really wins me over. And just as the heroine's kind of knocking down walls, the reader kind of goes along with them. And that's not to say that the heroine doesn't have her own walls. Both of these female characters in both of these were really, really well developed. I felt like both characters were well developed, because sometimes when you read a romance especially, and sometimes especially historicals, I don't feel like the hero and the heroine are really well developed. It's kind of like you get a lot on one and some on the other. And I felt like both of these had a really, really good backstories and kind of just a lot of meat to both the hero and the heroine, and I really appreciated that. So if you're looking for some good, these were also kind of Scottish, because I believe they're both from Scotland. I can't remember if this one is, but this one has a bit of a Scottish setting going on. So if you're interested in that, take a peek. Okay, so those are going to be my historical romance recommendations for this video. Let me know if you guys have any historical recommendations for me. There is definitely so many authors out there that I still haven't quite got to, or that I haven't kind of read all of their books, and I'm just so excited to get to them. But I thought I'd kind of update you, do a part 2. I'll probably keep this like a continuous series, and as I read more, every few months kind of just like update the list. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!